BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to the InuYasha V-Logs. And that's right, we are celebrating today the 100th episode of the series. We have gone 2 years, 5 seasons, and we are on the 100th episode. This is really exciting because this is a huge breakthrough for the V-Logs and for the show itself. Like, this episode aired, I believe, in 2003, the 100th episode in Japan. And it's funny because, you know, most animes range between, like, 200 to, like, 1,000 episodes. You look at things like Bleach and One Piece, and I'm just like, I ain't touching that with a 5.5-foot pole, I'll tell you that much. I cannot sit through a 1,000-episode series. But my usual majority I'll spend on a show, if I'm really invested in it, is between 100 to 200 episodes, depending on what it is. So, with InuYasha episode 100, where does this drop us off at? Well, to be honest, I was a little bit concerned, because I was thinking this was going to be another filler episode, which the preview does kind of entail that we're doing another padded episode until the plot comes forward, but I'll get to that in a sec. So, episode 100 opens with our heroes still on their quest to find Araku, and they come across an all-familiar moth demon, which, if you guys remember from the, I think when the Broken Fang arc or whatever, like around the 2nd season, there was this moth demon who took a hold of all of InuYasha's friends, was torturing people. InuYasha became a full demon and slaughtered the fuck out of them, and at first you think, oh, it's this guy, he's revived. How are you alive? But it turns out it's another one of the Moth Demon clan members, and he's sort of like a thorn in that guy's side. Now he's like, okay, well, I might as well just kill you anyway. Oh, so you're InuYasha, you're the one who killed, this guy, my bro. Okay, well, I'm gonna kill you, even though I didn't like the guy. So, basically, he entraps all of our friends, all of our heroes in these cocoons, and InuYasha's left to fight him, slaughters the demon, and then has to figure out how to get his friends out of these cocoons. As much as you think, oh, this sounds awful for a 100th episode, like, you think it would be this engaging, deep story, maybe some back history, maybe some importance of the plot. And in a sense, like, it doesn't and it does. Now, the reason it doesn't is because we have another filler villain on hand. We have essentially a clip show. Like, that's one thing I was really like, oh god, this is going to be a clip show, because they show flashbacks to each individual character's backstory again, like we haven't seen that before. And you're thinking, okay, so they're doing what was planned for the Nostalgia Critics 100th episode, a crummy-ass clip show, or like any clip shows. I can't do clip shows in TV shows. Most of the time, I skip right through clip shows. I don't see the point of them. With InuYasha episode 100, I will say this. It's a clip show that has relevance, that has importance, and for a number of reasons. First of all, it's a good way for new audience members to catch up on the plot, to catch up on these characters, and we kind of need that reminder once in a while. I'm not gonna lie, with animes as long as this, you do need to know what the characters are going through, what their plots are, what their goals and desires are. So, in a sense, we see a lot of their backstories. We see, again, Kohaku slaughtering Sango's family. We see Moroku processing the death of his father. We see Kagome going through her own struggles. Shippo dealing with the Thunder Brothers again. But what they do is they take the clip show formula and actually turn it on its head, where it focuses on our characters' fears. And one thing I'll say about the villain in this particular episode is that despite him being a rehash of a previous villain that kind of had no relevance, in a way, is kind of like Scarecrow in Batman, where he is using the character's fears to ultimately win. When we see all of our heroes in these cocoons, they're actually playing through their fears. Like, they're rehashing their past traumas that made them the characters they are today on their quest, and they have to relive those fears. So with Sango, it's about dealing with Kohaku's death and murder of the entire village and shit, once again. But what they do is, they add a real sick twist to it, because in this one, it plays with most of her fears that, is Kohaku just a straight-up psychopathic killer? Because there's a vision where he's like, hey, Sango, I killed a demon! And it turns out it's frickin' Kilala. And he's got like this happy joy about killing it's like if a family member killed the family dog. It's kind of sick and fucked up. And it plays with those fears. It plays with those emotional compromises. With Moroku, it's about, you know, the fear that his friends are going to get sucked into his wind tunnel, and you're like, oh my god, like, that's terrifying. And it does, again, allow you to understand where our heroes are coming from and why killing Naraku is super important, the main villain of the series. Like, why that is the point of the show. Gather the shards, destroy the jewel, and kill Naraku. That's the main goal. But one thing I will say, too, with Kagome's fears, that I actually really liked, at first they show kind of almost reanimated scenes of the first episode. Like, they have that digital cleanup that the new season has. Now, granted, it's probably because of quality reasons, but there are flashbacks that use clips from previous episodes from the earlier seasons that are incorporated here and later on in the show, so I don't see the point of, like, reanimating the first episode. So, they do that whole scene where Kagome's about to jump in the well. Like, they kind of reanimate it. Use the same cells, they just clean them up with digital tech. Well, what they do is they play with the fear of, what if Naraku attacked the present time? If he had access to the Bone Eater's well, if he was able to transport himself through time or through the universes to get to Kagome's world. And they play with that idea, and the idea that because magic, in a way, is sort of irrelevant to today with technology, that technology has come so far, we have forgotten what it's like to battle magic. And in this sense, it leaves the door open, the floodgates open, that demons could attack the modern era, and we have no weapons to combat it. No magic weapons, only like tech, like guns and shit. Like, I don't think a bullet is gonna stop Naraku, quite frankly, especially around this time period, because it was at the time period in ancient Japan where guns started to come around, but this is about a while before that, but they're still coming into play. But given I like to think that the feudal era actually takes place in an alternate universe or another dimension, I don't really see it as actual history. So to the point, Naraku attacks Japan and Kagome's fears, and it's a concept that I think is fascinating, and you can see why Kagome has her own goals to kill Naraku, because if Naraku kills all her friends and her, what's to stop him from accessing the Bone Eater's well and going to her time period and fucking shit up? It's a fascinating subject, to say the least, and it does, I believe, play into some theories that a lot of fans have had regarding Yashahime and Kirimaru, who's the villain of that series, but we will get to that down the line. So, it all comes together where InuYasha's trying to motivate them from the outside, telling them, don't give up, don't give in to your fears. And on top of that, it shows the importance of why they all need InuYasha as a friend and as a comrade, because he's kind of the glue that keeps them all together. In fact, they all are. And this episode cleverly addresses, like, how to take a clip show and incorporate the plot into, like, incorporate it and take some twists and turns where you don't have to worry about that. Like, you can actually, like, alter it to make it where it's like, here's the goal, here's the mission, do with it what you will, basically. And with that sense, episode 100 surprised me. It's not necessarily my favorite episode. It is still a clip show, it is still a padded episode, but it does something very clever with that formula, and it kind of catches people up to speed on what the plot is. So, I did like this one. I'm gonna give it a solid, 7 out of 10. It's not as good as the last one, but, I mean, last one was just fan service with Koga versus Sesshomaru and they don't end up fighting, but this one does sort of the same thing, where here's a concept, here's the same thing again, but let's take some twists with it and be completely unexpected, and I think that's what I'm gonna count on with these next few episodes before we get to the next big story arc, is that they're going to be cliche, but they're going to have different takes on it, which I think, in terms of writing, is extremely clever. So, 7 out of 10. Check this one out if you want to start at episode 100, and if you want to go back and do cliff notes, you can do that with the previous seasons, but I did like this one. So again, big thank you all for watching this episode, or this vlog of the 100th episode. If you want to go support our Patreon, just $1 more will get you access to all of our contests with other special features. Some of your contributions will go to the InuYasha fan film, along with our show, and so on. And yeah, I really enjoyed episode 100, so tune in next time when we take a look at episode 101, which, again, looks like filler, but given these last two episodes have taken some twists and turns with the cliches, I'm actually kind of looking forward to this one to see what they pull out of the hat this time. So until the next video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off saying, if you do a clip show, George Lucas the fuck out of those clips. So until next time, I'll see you guys later. Take it easy.